chosen beta. Oh, no biggie. I have a beta player. Oh, come on. I'm over 500 years old, and even I have a Blu-ray player.
Snafu. Situation normal. All fouled up.
Only he didn't say fouled. He said the F dash 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 word. Yes, it's Private Snafu, worst soldier in the Army. But these films aren't propaganda. They're actually training videos, assistance for our troops overseas. How-to films, or rather, how not to. You might say they're the Army's version of Schoolhouse Rock. It's great to learn.
'Cause knowledge is power.
The creation behind these are pretty impressive. The idea was conceived by Frank Capra, director of such classics as It's a Wonderful Life and Arsenic and Old Lace. Most of the stories were written by children's book author Dr. Seuss, Cat in a Hat and Grinch creator. Stop-motion master Ray Harryhausen was brought in to make sculptures for the artists to copy. Finally, Warner Brothers cartoon department man Leon Strashinger was hired to produce a series of 3-minute black and white films, in which his team of Looney Tune directors supervised, including Chuck Jones, Frank Tashlin, Bob Clampett, Robert McKinson, and Friz Freleng, not to mention Mel Blanc doing the voice. Also, Bosco creator Harmon and Ising were planning a spin-off produced by MGM, but this was later, and by that time the war had ended, obviously all for the best. Wow. Amazing the amount of talent that went into these masterpieces that the public was never meant to see. That's right, these were strictly for the Army, and were apparently a heavy guarded secret. In fact, rumor has it the ladies of the ink and paint department weren't even allowed more than a few seconds worth of cells to do. Kinda makes you wonder, don't it? Though the public never saw these until the late 80s when they fell into public domain and ended up on videotapes. Nowadays with DVD and internet, it's easier to spot, but back then, they were pretty tricky to find. But I managed to. This is Private Snafu. So the Snafu cartoon I'm reviewing today is Gripes by Friz Freleng.
I joined this here army to join in the fun, a jabbing the Jap and hunting the Hun. And look at the job that they hand out to me.
Wow, you could just feel the Dr. Seuss in that. It's like Hitler has termites in his smile. So clearly Snafu is not happy with his assignments. But then he gets a visitor.
Changes, that's just what I do. Say, who in the bloomin' blue blazers are you? Technical Fairy, first class.
I thought they weren't allowed in the military back then. God, I meant pixies. Hey, you know who this guy reminds me of? Jordan Von Strangle from the Fairly Odd Parents. I wonder if he's the grandfather. Of course, I kind of wonder whose side he would be on.
You're boss of the works. Now take over, Snafu.
So Technical Fairy gives him a promotion, so he's in charge of the troops.
This camp is now run under new management.
Hooray for Snafu, gives us all limousines. No more drill, no salutes.
I beg pardon, sir, but you hear all that humming? I got a suspicion. The Germans are coming!
The Germans? You mean these guys?
Sure. You Dummkopf!
Hey, we don't all sound like those stereotypes from Hogan's Hero, you know. Oh, and I saw your episode of the V.C.R. last month. It's pronounced Schneemann.
No use, they ain't trained and ain't got no morale. Your army's a washout, my fine-footed pal.
And so Snafu wakes up. It was all just a dream. And now he's got a new sense of morale and appreciation for the work he needs to do.
The moral, Snafu, is the harder you work, the sooner we're gonna beat Hitler, that joint.
I think I have time to review another. What the heck was that?
While that other duck is experiencing his technical difficulties, I'm going to show you a much better Snafu cartoon, Spies.
I just learned a secret. It's a honey. It's a pip. But the enemy is listening, so I'll never let it slip.
This one is clearly more Dr. Seuss written.
Now, the military secret that I carry in my brain, I keep in safe deposit.
That's not your brain. That's your kidney. That would explain why everything else is missing. In this pre-get smart time, the spies are hiding everywhere, from a moose's head to a phone booth.
But I'm going on a trip. Here's to my little secret with its chain and padlock.
Sure enough, Snafu downs some booze and lets loose the secrets. What a lightweight.
Hey, hiya, Sussy. Say you're a nifty trick. I hope I'll meet some babe.
I totally screwed up Waddle's V.C.R. with 8-track tape in it. Ah! Stupid share! So Snafu gives it all away to this feminazi. Wow, and I thought we were done with this when we got to booby traps. And sure enough, Adolf sends out the stormtroopers. And we end with this foul-mouthed lesson.
Who in hell do you suppose it was that let my secret out? What was that I heard you say, my little sauerkraut?
He wonders who in hell it was that let his secret out.
Such uncalled-for language.
What just happened? The cartoons were produced up until the war ended in 1945, and while some of the morals were kind of obvious and common sense, I'm sure it gave some of the soldiers a good laugh. And that was important too.
This is Snafu.
Now, who in hell you suppose it was that interrupted my broadcast?
He who wonders who in hell it was that took over his broadcast. Ha ha ha!